Marco and Brook. They're not the same personality-wise, but they suffer from the same thing. One could say they're two sides of the same coin. Within this video, I will be explaining to you the correlations that Brook and Marco have. But first, cue the intro.
Marco and Brook pulling up for all their dead homies. Oh yeah, you know their heart is hurting. They feel the void inside, they feel destroyed. Two sides of the same coin. The immortal man, that's a common trend. Carrying all of their weight. Guess the two men that cannot be killed. No, they cannot be killed. They are the immortal man. The two immortal men. The immortal man.
Brook and Marco. Two entirely different individuals that do not have many things in common at a surface level. But if you dive deeper into their characters and the small details that could be easily overlooked, you will see a very large connection between the two. Before we get into this connection, I will explain the backstory of these individuals. Let's see who we should start with. Perhaps a coin flip to decide. Let's see which side we get. Alright, let's start with heads. On the head side of the coin is Brook. He is a musician from the past. This classy skeleton was once on a pirate crew named the Rum Bar Pirates, from the West Blue of course. Within this crew, each member was a musician. As they were in the New World, their captain, Captain Corgi, fell ill and went to find treatment. God bless his soul. Unfortunately, they never heard from him again. With his exit from the crew, Brook then became the captain, thus resuming their journey through the Grand Line, trying to reach the New World. Making their way, sailing through the Grand Line, they reached the 𝚬𝚘𝚏 Triangle. As they were sailing through the dense fog of the area, they got attacked by a crew with poisonous weapons. Each member got hit, and unfortunately, each got infected. This is when Brook and his crew decide that they will stop sailing and they'll play their last song together as a crew, each member passing away with time, one by one. 𝚘𝚙𝚎 being played until their last breath.
どうしました?これじゃカルテットトリオデュエットソロ
As Brook passed away, his devil fruit, the revived fruit, activated. He traveled to hell, saw souls, and made his way back to his body. Unfortunately, for 50 years, his soul was unable to find his body, roaming all over the 𝚬𝚘𝚏 Triangle due to the dense fog. And by the time he got to his body, the only thing left was a skeleton with a great afro. Afros live forever. Check out 𝙲𝚘𝚎𝚑𝚝's Lafro Tale video to get the scoop on the importance of afros within the story of One Piece. Brook's boat couldn't move, so he waited in place until he encountered Gecko Moria, whom stole his shadow and put it in Ryuma's body. Shortly after, he met the Straw Hats. They worked together to take down this massive warlord, whom was a shadow of himself, enjoying them as their musician, becoming the Soul King. On the tail side of the coin is the Eternal Doctor, Marco. Marco is the former 1st Division commander and doctor of the Whitebeard Pirates. He started out as an apprentice on the crew. He had come to be Whitebeard's closest confidant and right-hand man. Marco has the Tori Tori no Mi Model Phoenix, a special Zoan fruit, which allows him to turn into a phoenix wielding the Mending Flames, giving him the ability to heal the health of himself and of his allies, making him one heck of a support character. These flames are not like regular flames. Along with the ability to heal, they are able to burn anything that is living as well, changing properties. he countered Big Mom's Prometheus and Akainu's magma abilities. After his captain's death at Marineford, Marco took leadership of the Whitebeard Pirates, of course, until the crew's disbandment following the Payback War. This war started against Marshal D. Teach to get payback on behalf of their pops and Ace. I'm quite sure Blackbeard is the individual who told Sengoku and the Marines that Ace was the son of Roger, which is another reason for these individuals to want to get payback. This war caused the death of additional members of Marco's crew, just to get back at the man whom betrayed his father. This loss affected Marco more than we could even think. Trying to avenge your father and fallen brothers, the feeling of not being able to take down the person that caused every ounce of pain that is felt within, the feeling of not being able to match up with someone whom was once a part of your family, and the feeling of outliving those you love. I guess we could only say one other person truly knows how that feels. Subject 1. Outliving Crewmates. There is a common situation that seems to be happening with Marco, and one that has already happened with Brook, and one that I believe will unfortunately happen to Brook again, and that is the outliving of their crew. When Marco was taking part within the story, we continue to witness the death of a dear friend, or even that of a brother, or even a father. Within Marineford, Marco lost his father figure and his brother, Ace. This affects him more than he could show us through the story. Marco was hurt enough from not being able to avenge his family in the way he wanted to, that he decided to retire from being a pirate and decided to lay low and take a step back from that lifestyle, making himself at home on Sphinx Island, a territory of Whitebeard and the place that we know he was born on. During the War of Onigashima, Marco lost another brother, that brother being Izo. Marco and Izo went to Wano together in order to help with the raid. In chapter 1052, it is confirmed that Izo passed, and Kinemon asked Marco if it's okay to bury Izo in Wano, the place that he was born on. And Marco replies, yes. Then after that says, seems like I've been left behind once again to say goodbye. Something that Brook has also had to deal with. Marco losing his crew periodically, while Brook losing his within a short span of time. I believe that Brook will have to deal with this once again with the Straw Hats though. Brook singing a song that resonates with his feelings about his crew, the ones to bring the dawn. For some reason, I have a feeling that Law's immortal surgery might just be done on the man whom already outlived one crew he was on. But this time, he'll spread the story of the Pirate King and his crew that freed the world from a tyrannical ruler and unjust system. Subject 2. The power behind Death's Door. As we know, Marco is a phoenix and Brook has the fruit that allows him to revive himself. Marco has not experienced death just yet, but until he experiences death, he will not awaken into the true phoenix. Just as Brook's devil fruit was worthless until he passed, Marco's will allow him to access new abilities, and one being that he will come back to life each time he dies. The phoenix rising from the ashes after death, just as Brooks has done previously. With his revived fruit, he was not capable of doing anything that he is able to do now. Being light as bones, he could run across water at a great speed. He's able to tap into the power of hell, which is ice. He is also able to manipulate souls, as we saw in Whole Cake Island against Big Mom's 𝚲𝚙𝚢𝚛𝚒𝚘 no Mi powers. He was able to cut the souls that were attached to the objects. His nickname is the Soul King for a reason. Brook is also able to leave his body as a soul. Their powers might not be exactly the same, but the true awakening of their fruits begins after death. Marco was surrounded by death, yet he never experienced it. Brook isn't surrounded by death anymore, yet he did experience it. I believe just as Luffy died and awakened his fruit, Marco will have to do the same thing when he goes to Impel Down to save Weevil. And when that happens, just know who told you first. Subject 3. The replacements. Another connection between these two men is that they were both named as captains of their crew, and they also both disbanded their crew. Due to this being discussed previously, I will keep this very brief. Marco and Brook both became captains of their crew once the captains were gone. Their crew looked for them to lead them, but unfortunately, they both failed. Life is about living and learning. For these individuals, the process of living and learning might just be eternal, and it has already come with sadness and pain. But with this sadness and pain comes a smile that is seen on their faces. Not a real one, but one that seems like a mask. A smile or a laugh to make one's brain think of joy. When you smile, dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins are sent to the brain, which signal to your body that you are happy. From Brook, I get the feeling that he is smiling to lessen the hurt that he felt in the past, which is still in his mind today. Others might see Brook as a gag character, but I see him as one of the deepest characters and one whom has one of the saddest backstories. Marco seems to smile when he is thinking about his late captain, distant memories that he sees as an escape from the reality. I believe Whitebeard pushed Marco to realize that the next generation of pirates will make waves in this era, due to Roger discussing with Whitebeard the history of the world and also the messages on the poneglyphs left by Joy Boy, which is why Marco was so happy to help the Alliance in their fight against Kaido and Big Mom's forces, out with the old and in with the new. One can only imagine the pain and sorrow these two individuals feel, but one can imagine the strength that these two individuals have. They have lost people dear to them, whom they considered family, yet they still get up each and every day and they fight for what they believe is worthy and right to fight for. Brook joining the Straw Hats, feeling accepted even though he is different, and Marco feeling at peace, filling in the shoes that his captain and father left him. Marco, the guiding flame of the new age, and Brook, the eternal musician. One able to mend your body, while the other mends your soul. One wielding fire, while the other wields ice. They truly are two sides of the same coin.
So take me back to the old days. All days, y'all said that I